Milton. We just got back power, so I am keeping you guys updated. You guys can see the disaster that took place more in Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Coast, Tampa, etc. We in Central Florida did not get too much damage, just a bit of wind. We had trees blown down, um, fences went down, but not any damage to the homes. Thank God for that. So please tune in. Please tune in. Come and check us out. Weather following this over in the Melbourne area tomorrow. Temperatures hovering in the upper Altamont Spring stretch of weather heading toward the upcoming. In fact, we could get a stronger front arriving toward Wednesday to Thursday. We're also going to be updating the tropics. There have been a lot of pictures I've seen on social media. People have been asking me, friends have been sending me pictures, all kinds of crazy stuff about Nadine. The next named storm is heading our way. We don't have that in the outlook, but we are not finished with the hurricane season yet. So we'll kind of clarify all of that and give you the straight skinny coming up, Greg.
Yeah, I think check the source. TikTok is not necessarily the best source for reliable information. It's about clicks and followers, and if you get 1,000 followers, you get to have a live stream. All these other things are going on there, so just be careful. I know it's easy to scroll, but typically it's wrong. All right, now the big question everyone has is, when will the power come back on at your place?
Back here with us this afternoon is Michelle Lynch from OUC to talk about that. And Michelle, we lost you earlier, but we did hear you talk about, I guess, about 54,000 customers still without power. But at one point you had more than 80,000, so you all are making some progress out there.
Yes, absolutely. We have had our safety assessors and our crews out, including OUC crews and crews from out of state through mutual aid, out in St. Cloud and throughout the city of Orlando and Orange County, trying to get people back into power. They've gone out to see, what is going on, how much damage there is. We're actually flying our drones to look at areas where we might not be able to get trucks into, but our goal is to get everyone back into power, as quickly as possible, but safely as possible. So that is what we're doing. And our assessors are spending the next couple of days determining a system-wide estimated time of restoration. We first focus on getting power back to our critical services, such as hospitals, wastewater treatment facilities, fire, police stations, and then other emergency locations. And then we start making repairs to restore the most customers possible in the most efficient manner.
There is a pecking order, right, Michelle, in terms of the way, I know you want to do the most possible, but there's also, hospitals, law enforcement, people with special needs. There is a pecking order here. Is that right or wrong?
Correct. The first places we start restoring power are with those with critical services. So your hospitals, your wastewater treatment plants, your fire and police stations, and then any other emergency location. And if there is someone who has medical equipment, we need to ask them to go to a shelter, and if that's not possible, they need to go to a hospital. But our crews are out there. They are battling the elements, so going through a lot of downed trees, going through some flooded areas. And that's hard to say, but they are out there working as quickly as they can. So we might have a better idea in the next 24 to 48 hours. But again, we've gone down from 88,000 out of power at the height of the storm down to 54,000. So we are making progress.
That is excellent. And the electrical line workers, the linemen, they are heroes here. So as you see them, maybe take out water to those crews who are away from their family, many of them, if not thousands of miles away. Thank you, Michelle, and we appreciate that. We'll look forward to an update. And I do know of people who have already had their power back on, which seems, you lose it last night, thinking, uh-oh, here we go. And you wake up this morning and your lights are back on. So
it helps to be on a house break for some people, too.
Yeah. I don't know if that was the case or not, but I know they're working as hard and safely as they can. Again, give them a pat on the back, a shake of water. If you see them in your neighborhood, they're like, when you see them, it's like, quick break right now, 3:46, as we continue with the aftermath of Hurricane Milton. We'll be back with Darlene Jones and Tom Terry after this quick break.
Sports Subaru means no pressure, honest, transparent pricing. Drive a new 2024 Outback. Receive our free lifetime powertrain warranty and never pay a dealer fee. Come see Central Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer at our new location on the corner of John Young and Princeton.
Just a devastating, historic storm.
We had 126 warnings yesterday, the most ever issued in Florida. Before, during, and after the storm, depend on Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
I need City Kia.
Come on, we got you.
Whoa, make that switch.
Last year, over 5,000 customers made the switch to City Kia, and you can too. Save up to $8,000 on select new City Kia. Kia Fortes from only $119 a month.
Nobody beats a City Kia deal. Nobody.
Why? Because this is where the magic lives. Visit us at citykia.com.
Celebration, celebration, celebration.
I was on East Colonial, and as I was driving, a large commercial vehicle pulled out in front of me. Literally, it felt like someone took a baseball bat and hit me in the chest. The beach firm was dedicated to my case. As a result of the accident, the case was able to pay off all of those bills, so I didn't have that worry. They went the extra mile. If anyone even mentioned a situation of like, I have someone you can call, and that someone has called a bitch.
Employment law, personal injury, or workers' compensation, call Carlos today.
The Rooms to Go 12-day fall sale is going on now. So let's go. Hurry to Rooms to Go. Check out our amazing selection and save big on the good-looking furniture you need. Living rooms, bedrooms, dining rooms, kid rooms, mattresses, and more. Plus, to make buying easier, get 50-month interest-free financing. That's right, you get both low sale prices and 50-month interest-free financing at the Rooms to Go 12-day fall sale going on now.
Here's to taking a break, the upside of downtime. At Leaders, we know why you choose to call Florida home, and you want furniture that is built for outdoor Florida living. So here's to you, the break takers. Here's to Florida living with Leaders Furniture.
At Care Plus Health Plans, we know how important it is to access the care you need. That's why
Welcome guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you all for watching. I'm giving you guys a live update of the aftermath of Hurricane Milton. So you guys can please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all of you guys online. Thank you.
Sports Subaru means no pressure, honest, transparent pricing. Drive a new 2024 Ascent. Receive our free lifetime powertrain warranty and never pay a dealer fee. Come see Central Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer at our new location on the corner of John Young and Princeton.
All of our government agencies and law enforcement did a great job. I'm Greg Wilmoth along with Darlene Jones at having these news conferences before the storm and now after the storm to kind of let us know where we stand.
Yeah, a lot of people have questions and they have the answers. At least we hope. Orange County leaders are talking right now about the aftermath. Let's listen in to Orange County Mayor Jerry Jennings.
Emergency Operations Center with us. We've had the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and several other state agencies that have been right here with us. I do appreciate all of the work that they have been doing and supporting this effort. The tropical storm warning was dropped at 11 this morning, but we're still under a wind advisory until 8 p.m. tonight. And Orange County remains under a flood watch for standing water. Over the past few days, 42 tornado warnings were issued in Central Florida with several confirmed touchdowns. We will not know about the extent of the damage until we have the opportunity to go out and further investigate. However, we do know, again, that approximately 600 properties were damaged. In the Ocoee area, Winter Garden area, there are reports of up to 12 inches of rain. I'm going to have our Emergency Operations Center Deputy Director, Carlos Durden, come up in just a few moments, and he'll share with you some of the details about the impacts that we saw countywide. But this was both a rain and a wind phenomenon for us, and he'll get into those details. But as we move forward, our Emergency Operations Center continues to work 24/7 to ensure that our resources are being marshaled in an appropriate way. In terms of our shelters were certainly used by our residents. We served a total of 325 persons in special needs. Those individuals were in our shelters. I had the opportunity this morning to visit the shelter at Goldenrod. I saw people of various ages and affirmatives who really needed help. It warmed my heart to see our county staff members, our medical personnel, our nurses, and others who were there caring for these individuals within our community. Shortly before noon, our health services crews began checking on the homes of those clients to see if those who registered with us as people with special needs, if they were okay. Links is taking individuals who were at our shelters for people with special needs. They're beginning to take them back to their homes and other places. We are in the process now of closing special needs shelters with the exception of the one at the Silver Star Recreation Center, which will remain open tonight. Many of those who stayed at our general population shelters have already returned to their homes. At the height of the storm, there were over 1,300 people in our shelters, and as of midday today, that number had declined to 369. We closed our Wedgefield shelter earlier today. An additional 9 of the 11 general population shelters that we opened will close tonight at 5 p.m. The general population shelters at Apopka High School and Oak Ridge High School will remain open until tomorrow for those who still need shelter. Orange County government is here to take care of our citizens. Due to the storm, however, we closed Orange County government for normal operations, but we expect to reopen for normal businesses after Friday. We will be closed tomorrow on Friday for normal business. In addition to Orange County, the Chief Judge of the Ninth Judicial Circuit, Chief Judge Lisa Munyon, announced that the circuit courts within Orange and Osceola County will be closed for today and Friday. We are continuing to use our building safety experts to go out and do assessments of the damage across Orange County. The teams are made up of licensed building and electrical inspectors who will determine if the building is safe to inhabit or if it needs repairs. Public Works continues to work throughout our community, addressing the flooding issues and other issues. We have a number of traffic signals that are out. We have a number of pump stations that are on generator power. They're working to restore all of that over time. In the next few days, as you watch what happens within our community, you're going to continue seeing some localized flooding. Because as the water moves around, you're going to see some of the retention ponds and other areas. You're going to continue to see water arising within our community. So we still have a lot of work to do from a public works perspective to take care of all of that. There are some amount of flooding reported along the Reams Road area near the Floridian Way, as well as at the intersection of Reams Road, Paquette Road, and Summer Lake Park Boulevard. We will start a pumping operation in the next few hours, and we will be setting up barricades and related traffic control.
All right, you've been listening in live to Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings providing an update on where Orange County is in terms of trying to really get back to a sense of normalcy as we all work to recover from Hurricane Milton.
We'll be right back, and we're going to be straight up at 4 o'clock. We'll give you everything that's happening, including a Volusia County press conference in Volusia. Just absolutely took a beating last night by Milton's aftermath, Milton's fury. We'll have more on the aftermath just ahead.
Get the right RV at the right price right now. Over 600 pre-owned RVs in stock. Top brands, low miles, no dealer fees. This 2021 Coachman Mirada is discounted $5,000. Visit LaMesaRV.com today. At Advent Health Central Care wants to keep you safe and healthy during Hurricane Milton. Now through 8 p.m. Thursday, we're offering free urgent care video visits for common health conditions. Just download the Advent Health app and use code Milton. For more information, visit adventhealthvideovisits.com. Be well and know Advent Health is always here for your whole health.
Time to move. Make it easy with Open Door. Sell your home in any season for any reason. Start your move at opendoor.com.
When you've been hurt, we stand up. We stand up for you. We stand up for your family. We stand up with strength. And we fight for your rights.
We stand between you and those who would hurt you again. With confidence and determination, we stand up for what's right, no matter what. We don't back down.
Farah and Farah, here for you, here for good.
At Toyota Orlando and Toyota Clermont, we've extended our payment reduction event. We want to help you get out of your old car loan or lease and into a new Toyota with a lower monthly payment. Through this Sunday, you can drive a new 2024 Tacoma Double Cab for only $299 a month. And before you look anywhere else, shop online to see our best deals and to explore your payment options. Then hurry in to get our best selection. We're open every night till 10 p.m. Don't miss out. Our payment reduction event is going on now at Toyota Orlando, I-4 near Millennium Mall, and Toyota Clermont on Highway 50.
Get local breaking news alerts when you download the Channel 9 News app.
Before and after. Before and after. If you have a before kitchen, now's the time to call Kitchen Saver and get a beautiful after. With our custom cabinet renewal process, you can have a brand new kitchen within 3 to 5 days. We're so confident in our products that we'll back it all, labor and materials, with our 10-year limited warranty. Claim our special offer and become a satisfied customer today.
Prepare to be impressed. Kitchen Saver.
It's our payment reduction event. We want to help you lower your monthly car payment. You can drive a new 2024 Tundra Crew Max for only $329 a month. Go to Toyota Orlando and Toyota Clermont.
Central Florida's chief meteorologist, Tom Terry, only on Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Next thing you know, it's kind of like an earthquake, almost saw the rumble out front.
We saw homes that were surrounded by water. We saw homes that had water inside of them.
But if you look up here, you can see the dunes. There's really no sign that they have been eaten away, and that is a good thing.
We've made available enough pressure on the number of assets to deal with this crisis.
It is now 4 o'clock. Hopefully, as best as could be, you've made it through this all right. Good afternoon. I'm Greg Warmouth.
And I'm Darlene Jones. Right now, we're getting a better look at some of the damage from Hurricane Milton and the aftermath. Drone 9 has been flying all over Central Florida. Take a look at this. You can see streets submerged in water as people kind of wade through, trying to make their way through different neighborhoods. This is the Wolf Branch Estate neighborhood in the Sorrento area of Lake County.
Yeah, what a mess. And another big problem, strong winds knocked down trees in every county, some on houses, some on vehicles. We actually heard from Volusia County that 2 people were killed by trees that fell on them while they were in their home. This video is from Leesburg, where 2 huge oak trees fell near a few homes. Thankfully, in this instance, Darlene, no one was hurt.
Yeah, and Greg, as you just mentioned, we know that several people died, including those 2 deaths you just mentioned in the Volusia County area. One person in Ormond Beach, another in Port Orange, which is what you're looking at right here. This neighborhood behind us, you can see flooded extensively there. We have a crew heading that way right now to try to gather some more information about the work to clean up after the storm.
Yeah, that will be impassable, no doubt, Darlene. And right now we do have a full team assembled across the region, including along our coastline, which again took a beating. And again, it has been a problem from Brevard, Volusia, Flagler. But we'll begin right now there in Brevard County. And we've got Mel Holt live. And Mel, you were first on scene for a tornado impact, and you've spoken to residents there this morning and this afternoon.
Yeah, we're still off of A1A here in Cocoa Beach, Greg, and I can tell you at least here in the commercial area where you saw that tornado damage yesterday, the cleanup is underway. They're boarding up the supercuts right now, and they're actually making their way all around this building. But I can tell you, all around Brevard County today, the damage assessment is still underway.
This Thursday, we got on the road to take our own survey of some Brevard County neighborhoods after Hurricane Milton. With Point Canaveral closed to traffic this morning, we headed over to Cocoa Beach to take a closer look at some neighborhoods caught in the path of a radar-confirmed tornado in the area of A1A and South Banana River Boulevard.
My wife said, when we looked at it, she saw it come down here, and then it sort of twisted and disappeared, and she couldn't see it anymore as it went past the back of the house.
So you actually saw the funnel cloud?
My wife did. I personally didn't. And that's when she started screaming. She was all very distraught, obviously.
We're looking at all this, and I don't know, has anybody from, and I'm sure they're just starting to do, the storm's just passed, so I'm sure folks are coming to do damage assessments.
Yeah, we were on to our insurance company this morning, and they called back, and they said they're going to send a damage assessor out to obviously assess the damage and see what their repairs would cost. Which I was very pleased they responded quickly. You know, I just wish we didn't have to make the call.
Gary Sorahan's neighbor, Cocoa Beach Mayor Keith Capizzi, was also at home.
It started right about maybe a couple houses down from mine. We got hit. Obviously, all these guys got hit a lot worse. And then the next street over, Wells Fargo roof, about a quarter mile away, landed on their roof right there. So it was a pretty intense tornado.
From Cocoa Beach, we made our way over to the town of Melbourne Beach to check for signs of erosion. Brevard County's beach management director did a preliminary survey of miles of beach across the county to see how they fared after the storm. There were signs of erosion, but overall, we were told the county's beaches are in pretty good shape after Hurricane Milton, and some local residents would agree.
I expected it to be worse, really. Yeah, I've seen it much worse than this over the years, but that doesn't go to say that it's not going to get worse once that storm gets out there, pushes some more swell.
And I learned in the last few minutes, Brevard County has closed its general population shelters. Those are now closed. I can also tell you that the National Weather Service is in the area right now to survey this damage that we've been showing you around Cocoa Beach, and we hope that very soon we might have a preliminary idea anyway of just how strong this tornado was. But I can tell you this damage spans a few blocks here. Reporting live here in Cocoa Beach, Melanie Holtz, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
It is interesting that the main damage we're seeing in Cocoa Beach, so concerned in Brevard, of course, for the hurricane, that it was a tornado that did the significant damage there. But fortunately, no deaths to report out of Brevard County.
Yeah, Channel 9 Shannon Butler has been checking out storm damage for us to the south. She is live now this afternoon, still in Polk County.
Yeah, we are in Polk County. We had actually come up from the neighborhood we were just in, just trying to take a look around to see if any of the water was starting to recede. It appears to be receding a little bit, but take a look. This is where there's like a creek over here, and it's just kind of flattened over this road right here. It's finally passable a little bit. Most of the cars back there, though, are turning around, afraid to go down this road. But pretty much at this area right here, if we just spin around, every single one of these roads are pretty much impassable, or at least they were till just a little while ago. This is the scene all over Polk County. They were just hammered by that hurricane. We came up from Tampa Bay earlier today. The traffic along I-4 going towards Tampa, towards Polk County, it is bumper to bumper on I-4. Many of the people, even here in Polk County, that had maybe come to higher ground are all now trying to get back to where they came from to try to assess the damage. There are so many homes here that are inundated with water. The roads are taking a beating here. They're still trying to assess some of these roads to see if they're holding up under all of this water. This is an area that doesn't usually flood like this. It was just so much water, and many of these folks here were also under that flash flood warning. That is why we're seeing all of this water like we did in Tampa Bay last night. That flash flooding was just an extra pain for everybody living here. Greg, Darlene?
My goodness, it's rare, but we have to say roads in many areas are no wake zones.
No, and Shannon had a great point there. It's that water sitting on the road, so we're potentially looking at more damage even after the water gets out of there because of
so many washouts, right?
Yeah, already we have. So we want to get you over to Volusia County, where Channel 9's Ashlyn Webb has been monitoring and really assessing the damage over there. She's live on Daytona Beach shores, where they're also dealing with significant flooding.
Yeah, guys, I'm in Daytona Beach, and this is Beach Street right now. We were talking about this a couple days ago, even yesterday, about the flooding that this area would get, and we're seeing it now. I'm in about ankle deep of flooding, but farther down, you can see closer to Magnolia, you can see that it is pretty much, I would say, thigh to knee deep. And you can even see a current. I'm going to step out of the way so you guys can see a little bit better. I mean, there's a current moving through these floodwaters. We've seen cars trying to get through these areas. Earlier this morning, we were reporting live when a car actually stalled out right in front of us. The driver had to push it through. This is what we're dealing with in several parts off of Beach Street. This is an area that saw a lot of flooding during Ian and also Nicole. But I will say, looking at this versus Ian was much worse, but we don't know really the damage inside of these properties at this time, because a lot of these business owners have not returned to their properties to see how much flooding is in the area. I want to point out too, I want to show you guys this building right above me. You can see the windows are blown out. We've been talking about this a good bit, about the wind damage we are seeing throughout Volusia County. Just a couple minutes ago, we were at that gas station where you saw the glass blown out there. I mean, we are seeing this throughout the county. Also over here, you can see that parts have been blown off of this building as well. The thing is, I mean, the area had really prepped the best they could before going into this storm. Almost every single storefront had their boards in front of their windows. They had sandbags. They were really hoping for the best because, like I've said, I mean, this area has seen a lot of flooding before. Speaking of the damage that we're seeing in Volusia County, sadly, we did hear that there is 2 confirmed fatalities. And I just got some more information from Volusia County Sheriff's Office. They did tell me that one of them is a 79-year-old woman in Ormond Beach. A tree fell on top of her house, and sadly, she passed away. And also a 54-year-old woman in Port Orange. Also, a tree fell on top of her home, and she passed away as well. Speaking of the winds, yesterday the bridges were shut down. That was about 9:30 yesterday. It's because of the sustained wind that we had in this area. Once it reached 40 miles per hour, they shut down the bridges. And we saw that the wind pick up throughout the night. Finally, the bridges, it looks like, have opened for the most part. We've been able to drive over several of them. But the problem is, once you cross those intercoastal waterway bridges, then you see this. You see the flooding, the substantial amount of flooding that's really dangerous to cross through. You can see that Jeep crossing through it now. We have seen cars stall out, so it's definitely not advised. And we see another one crossing through this area too. But you can see here the sign says road underwater, road closed. We see a lot of those signs throughout Beach Street. So that's the risk, is if you do cross the bridge, you might have been able to cross the bridge, but you might not be able to get through the flooding here. We'll continue to follow the conditions out here, and we should be hearing from Volusia County pretty soon about any updates they have on damages and also the injuries, water rescues, and sadly those fatalities that we've been hearing about as well. But for now, reporting in Volusia County, Ashlyn Webb, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Ashlyn. And it is unfortunate. You have those fatalities, and a lot of times it's after, the storm. They also had some after Hurricane Ian.
Yeah, all right, we're going to continue with our coverage. We're going to go back to Volusia County and hear from leaders. We will bring you their news conference. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with that. We've got a lot of pit stops to make here as we take a look and assess the damage. This is the day after. We're giving you Hurricane Milton aftermath right here on Channel 9 and WFTV.com.
Milton brought the biggest tornado outbreak in Florida history in one day. That's why we spent days and days to update all the county-by-county impacts, to give you that advance warning, to track it street by street, and tell you that it's coming and it's time to hunker down. Hurricanes and severe weather coverage are why I do what I do. This is why we are here. We all work as a one big team here at Channel 9 to keep you informed. And we're going to get through this.
I was T-boned by a careless driver and didn't know what to do. I've never been through anything like this before. So I decided to reach out to attorney Dan Newman. Calling Dan was my best decision. His team really fought for me. And at the end of my case, Dan got me $1 million. And that money is really going to help with my medical care.
Involved in a car accident? Let's get started. Call me at 407-888-8000.
Thanks, Dan, for winning my case.
It's an unimaginable trauma. A woman or girl is raped and gets pregnant. Then she's forced to have her attacker's baby. That's now the law in Florida. An extreme abortion ban with no real exception for rape. No matter where you stand on abortion, that too far. Government has no right putting anyone through that. Government has no right making that decision for you. Voting yes on 4 protects women and girls and stops government's cruel abortion ban.
Vinyl flooring is luxurious and soft underfoot. Right now at National Floors Direct, get an entire room of luxury vinyl flooring installed the next day for just $788 and no interest for 1 year. Call 888-400-FLOOR. We'll bring the store to your door.
Buy 5 wings, get 5 free.
Hey everyone, it's wings time!
Yeah, it's that good. Buy 5 wings, get 5 free. Only with 7 rewards.
I'm Dr. Gracie Christie, a physician, a Floridian, and a mother. Today, I can't even prescribe Tylenol to a teenager without first talking to her parents. But under Amendment 4, that same teen could get an abortion without parental consent and without a doctor's approval. In fact, Amendment 4 would make abortion the only medical procedure a minor could undergo without parental consent. Amendment 4 is too extreme and not what it seems. Please vote no on Amendment 4.
There are trucks, and then there's the GMC Sierra. Available with the connected driving experience. And the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. It's the truck. Get 0% APR on select 2024 Sierra 1500 models. That's over $8,900 total value on your trade-in eligible vehicle. Plus, no monthly payments until next year.
This update from Severe Weather Center 9 is sponsored by Toyota Orlando and Toyota Claremont.
All right, we have the Volusia County officials now giving an update on Hurricane Milton. So let's listen in. This news conference just started moments ago.
As both had a tree topple over on their residence. Our hearts go out to those families and to everyone who has been affected by this storm. As I said, we have been in response mode all day, but also the path to recovery has already begun. As with our previous crises, we're working expeditiously with our partners at the local, state, and federal levels to leverage any and all necessary resources to come to the aid of our community. We will continue to be here for you. If you sustain damage from the storm, please let us know so we can report it to the appropriate state and local officials. This can potentially help us obtain assistance for our community quicker. Please take photos of your property and upload them to the emergency management app or on our hurricane page located at volusia.org. You can also report damage or request cleanup assistance by calling our Citizen Information Center at 866-345-0345. Now I'd like to welcome Volusia County Sheriff Michael Chitwood to the podium. Sir.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. I want to start off by saying that all of the bridges are open except at this point for Dunlawton. Due to the flooding, I think it's impossible for anybody to go over the bridge eastbound or come back westbound. The second thing we want to talk about is our curfew. Tonight, we will begin our curfew at 9 p.m. and we will lift that at 5 a.m. As you heard our emergency management director say quite clearly and succinctly, now is not the time to be out on the road. If you have to go to Publix, if you have to go to the drugstore, if you have to check on your family members, by all means do it. But you have to use caution. We are working calls right now for cars that are in flooded ditches where people say they saw the car drive in with occupants, and resources have to go out there to look and see whether in fact somebody's in there. When it gets dark, it's not going to make it any less perilous out there. There are flooded roadways. There's roadways that have washed away. We have about 170,000 people who don't have power. You can see the devastation that we took. We really need our residents to allow the county and the cities to get out there with their public works, their road and bridge, to let Duke Energy get out there to get us back on our feet by Friday morning. As you heard the director say, we had 4 deaths. 2 of the deaths were from falling trees. 1 of the deaths was from boarding up their property, and they took a heart attack while doing so, and another was a cardiac arrest that first responders could not get there in time during the height of the storm. I had the ability to traverse the county last night prior to and when the eye came ashore, and I can tell you, we are in for a long recovery, but we need your help to get it done. I want to thank Fish and Wildlife for the resources they supplied us. I want to thank county administration for allowing us to do our jobs, to get this done right. And I want to thank the governor. It's a great relief knowing that we had National Guardsmen in this building, in the EOC, with their equipment, ready to go on a minute's notice to back us up and be there for our residents. So we're going to get through this. Just give us one more night. By tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, we'll be able to resume life as much as we can. And with that, I'd like to introduce my good friend, County Councilman, District 2, Matt Reinhardt.
Thank you, Sheriff. As the Sheriff said, the loss of life during any event like this is traumatic, and our thoughts and prayers go out to those individuals that were. This is a very traumatic storm. I just want to get up here to emphasize the fact that the coastal area that my district encompasses, there's a lot of flooding on Beach Street, flooding in some of the local neighborhoods. Just getting out of my neighborhood alone, there's hard to navigate through that, but due to the fact that you have stormwater ditches that are in place, the water has already covered the road. There's no way to navigate off of that. And then, in addition to the fact, remember that those individuals that live in those communities, their homes are flooded already. And by you pushing that water, trying to barrel through those roads and that waterway, all it's doing is creating that wait zone, if you will, in a vehicle, and it's going inside those homes. So please use caution, use common sense. These could be your homes as well. This could be your families that are impacted as a result of that. So use caution. And again, if you don't have to go out, please don't. Take heed to the orders that are given from the Sheriff's Office with respect to the staying indoors if it's not necessary to go outside, and try to avoid the looky-loo syndrome, as I refer to it, as individuals that want to see the devastation. There'll be enough media coverage that we'll be able to produce that for you, so please stay off the roads. And thank you very much. Now I turn it over to our friends at Duke Energy.
Good afternoon. I'm Patty D'Alessandro at Duke Energy. As of 3 p.m. today, Duke Energy service territory had over 950,000 outages. 55,000 of that is in West Volusia County. As you can imagine, we're assessing the damage on our infrastructure and our equipment. That's the first step in the restoration process. Now it's going to be a lengthy process to restore power in the community. We focus obviously with safety in mind, and we will do this as quickly as possible. So as we begin this, we ask residents to make sure that you consider all power lines if they're down, trees, limbs, or anything. Stay away from any power line or any line that's down on the ground. It could be energized and very dangerous. Stay away from lines. If a line goes over your car, stay in your car. If you have a phone while you're in the car, call 911. If you have a power outage, you can go to duke-energy.com. You can use the mobile app by texting out to 57801 or calling 1-800-228-8485. Be sure to sign up for the outage alerts, and we really appreciate your patience during this process. Thank you.
As you heard from our Duke Energy partner, there are still residents without power. Aside from what Duke Energy reported to you, there's more than 125,000 FP&L customers without power, 1,300 from Clay Electric, and nearly 23,000 from New Smyrna Beach Utilities. I can assure you they are working diligently to restore power as soon as possible, and between all of our partners, they've restored more than 35,000 customers already. I would also like to take this opportunity to give a special thanks to our Volusia County schools for being such incredible partners in allowing our residents and providing for them a safe place to stay during the event. At the height of the storm last night, we had over 1,000 of our citizens checked into shelters, with a little under 400 still remaining in the shelters now. We're coordinating with schools, other governments, nonprofit organizations, and others to shift away from emergency sheltering and get everybody into transitional sheltering as soon as we can. These are for our folks that have sustained damage from Hurricane Milton and are unable to return home. We are also working with partners to address housing needs for each affected household with no place else to go, okay, whether they're in shelters or not. To our first responders, law enforcement, fire, EMS, animal services, our community cannot thank you enough for your efforts throughout last night and today. Your bravery does not go unnoticed. You're there for our residents in the worst conditions, often jeopardizing your own safety to help others. You're all heroes, and the simple words "thank you" are not enough. And finally, on behalf of Volusia County, we want to thank our residents. I want to take this opportunity both professionally and personally to thank our residents and our visitors to Volusia County for being such upstanding and outstanding partners through this event. You sought out sandbags. You prepared your homes. You stayed home during the peak of the storm. You did all of the things that we asked you to do in order to help minimize the impact to our community. Again, for those family and friends who lost loved ones or have had loved ones that are injured, our sympathies, my sympathies, go out to you. We will continue to be here for you for as long as it takes in order to get our community back to the new normal. But I must ask of you, going forward over the next few days, please continue to exercise good judgment. Our roads will be littered with debris and damage. The ocean is going to be extremely hazardous. Like always, your safety is our top priority. Please help us accomplish that goal. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. So 4 deaths, 3 had trees fall on their homes, and that's how they were killed, and 1 was a heart attack?
As of right now, we can confirm 4 fatalities. 2 of those were due to trees falling on their residences. 1 was a cardiac issue that EMS just could not get to in time, and another one was an issue, probably cardiac, that occurred while they were boarding up their home.
And do you know about how many high water rescues you've had to do?
At last count, when I talked to our folks in fire and law enforcement, we had effected at least 170 high water rescues. That number may have increased since the last time I talked to them. Sheriff, do you have a different number, sir?
No, what we did though was a 2-tiered approach. The first tier was medical emergencies and folks who would call and say, hey, the flooding's coming in, it's a matter of serious bodily injury or death. And then tier 2 was, I got a foot of water in my house, I can't get out, I have to go somewhere dry, can you come and get me? So that's how we worked it. During the height of the storm, it was tier 1, and then once the storm and the eye passed us, then we started working on tier 2. Obviously, tier 1 was always a priority. So as the director said, it was about 170 that we were able to get to safely out.
And I know the damage is obviously pretty widespread in Volusia County, but were there any parts of the county that you would say were particularly hard hit by Milton?
So, strangely enough, a lot of the areas that we saw heavy damage during the end were a repeat of this time. So, Midtown and Daytona Beach, DeLand, Deltona, some areas in Port Orange, those areas we know were significantly impacted. South Daytona also received a significant amount of damage. So, again, anyone in those low-lying areas, or that have been susceptible to damage in the past. Unfortunately, it was a repeat in many cases.
And how long would you say till things are mostly back to normal?
As we move further and further away from the event, we'll get things back to that new normal more and more. But it is going to be a number of days and perhaps even weeks, depending on what our critical infrastructure partners can accomplish. FP&L, Duke, New Smyrna, and Clay will be doing their level best to get power back up and running as fast as possible. Again, our outstanding school partners will be doing everything they can as we transition from emergency sheltering into transitional sheltering and getting their schools back open and the kids back to school. Again, our private industry partners, the grocery stores, the gas stations, again, are doing their level best to make sure that those commodities are available for our citizens and our visitors here in Volusia County. But it could take a number of days before we approach anything that looks like normal, and it could be weeks before we actually get to the point where we're back to a new normal. Any other questions? Again, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate your time and your partnership. We look forward to talking to you again.
Excellent and thorough in terms of all the different agencies there in Volusia County, one of our largest areas, and so diverse because you have the beach, you have low-lying areas, you have the racetrack, you have inland, you have rivers. And the sad part about that, we knew of the 2 fatalities, Darlene, from the trees falling. We got a few more details on that. A 79-year-old woman was in her home and a 54-year-old woman. And then the other 2, one was a heart attack while boarding up, we believe a male boarding up his house, and the other one had a cardiac arrest, and they just could not reach that individual. So 4 confirmed deaths there in Volusia County is, of course, too many. But as Sheriff Chitwood said, everybody came together, pooled their resources, and he said, we are in a long road of recovery, and we need your help to stay off the roads. And we'll try to give the roads back to you as best we can by 5 a.m. tomorrow.
And part of that includes also, he talked about the curfew that they're going to have as well, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. And really it's to keep everyone off the roads, out of the way of those who are trying to get the community back to a sense of what they said, a new normal.
All the bridges are open except Dunlawton. Now, Dunlawton is the bridge that takes you from Port Orange into Daytona Beach shores. It's a popular bridge, but they have some water issues, so you may be able to get over it, but you can't get back. And so that bridge will remain closed until further notice. There are several other bridges that you could take and then route yourself if you had to get down, of course, to, say, Ponce Inlet and those sorts of locations. New Smyrna Beach, we did not hear anything about them. The video imagery coming from New Smyrna shows quite a bit of flooding. We're going to continue our coverage right here. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back at 4:30 with the very latest as we continue the aftermath coverage here on Channel 9 of Hurricane Milton.
Shut down the 110. Get these people out of these cars. There's a plane coming. I love you. Tell me in person.
911, only tonight on ABC. Closed captioning ensures all viewers have access to our programming here on Channel 9 and provides a critical link by delivering important local coverage with stories that impact our community. Closed captioning on WFGB is sponsored by Farah and Farah.
When I was hurt, when I was injured, who did I go to? I gave Farah and Farah a call. The team jumped on it. Once I knew that I had an attorney and a team that was following me, I knew that I was getting satisfaction.
In this moment, everything changed. Every choice now impacts a child's future. Research has proven that smoking weed while pregnant can hurt babies. Cannabis passes through the placenta, leading to brain development issues, anxiety, poor academic performance, and physical problems at birth. Any use of THC while breastfeeding is also dangerous for babies. Your child or grandchild's future starts now. Don't put it at risk. Say no to marijuana while pregnant.
When I saw the tumor on the MRI, my first thought was, am I going to be able to see my daughter again? The doctors knew if I did not end my pregnancy, I would lose my baby, I would lose my life, and my daughter would lose her mom. Florida has now banned abortion, even in cases like mine. Amendment 4 is going to protect women like me. We have to vote yes.
I'm Dan Bro with OrlandoSellNow.com, your trusted local home buyer, and I want to buy your house. Whether it's a total fixer-upper or in perfect condition, OrlandoSellNow.com is the easiest way to sell your house. When you sell your house to OrlandoSellNow.com, there's no fees, no commissions, no banks, and no repairs. Imagine selling your house in just one day on your terms without the stress. Just go to OrlandoSellNow.com for a free, no obligation cash offer 24 hours a day. That's OrlandoSellNow.com.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor. And the potential to take you anywhere. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. At one of your Central Florida Chevy dealers today.
At McCoy, we have smarter checking. Watch your perks stack up with reward points and say goodbye to high loan rates with exclusive discounts. Plus, receive mobile phone insurance and real-time identity monitoring. So you're always one step ahead. Get smarter protection at a smarter value with smarter checking from McCoy.
And it's a tragic thing because it's not like, oh, they should have evacuated. I mean, what do you do when you have a tornado? You kind of duck and cover, happens so quickly.
Tampa is a mess. There are water rescues, roads flooded, trees down, a lot of structural damage in that area.
A lot of wind, considerable rain, minimal chaos.
Minimal chaos, that is a great way to put it. We have a full team of reporters spread across Central Florida, keeping you informed on the hidden dangers and the latest information from our local leaders. Hurricane Milton has forced people across Orange County and really other parts of Central Florida to watch out for the floodwaters left behind.
Darlene Jones, Greg Wormuth with you. We'll take you all the way through the rest of this hour, and I want to bring you to Edgewater Drive near Lake Adair, and Daryl Matthews, he is there, and this is something that, again, some of the residents were reaching out to me last night in the midst of the storm saying the water is rising, the streets are flooding, my yard is a mess with so much water. And Daryl, you've got an example of what those people dealt with in the dark last night.
We're looking at a site that's going to be pretty common to a lot of neighborhoods after Hurricane Milton made landfall here. This is Lake Adair. Right now you see that a lot of the water from the lake is starting to push towards the street. Right now where I'm standing is on the sidewalk, so it shows how deep right now that walking on the sidewalk where people normally jog is with this water. But it's starting to come pushing out towards the street of Edgewater Drive. As you can see, a lot of debris still out here, and officials did block off this road, so it's forcing a lot of the vehicles to make U-turns or to take alternate routes. As you can see, a lot of these cars right here. But what's interesting while coming out here to look at this lake is that a lot of this water is starting to come up from this manhole. As you can see, officials remove the lid from it to let a lot of the water escape and to go down this drain. I found that pretty interesting. But I'm pretty sure once the water starts to recede back into the lake, they'll open up this roadway for a lot of the drivers. But as of right now, it's unsure how long that will be, but we'll keep monitoring to make sure that this is passable for some drivers safely. For now, we're live in Orlando. Daryl Matthews, Channel 9, Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Daryl. And they had some flooding in that neighborhood even before the hurricane. So this
really
is
did.
Yeah.
And there's some issues there, possibly with drainage. And, there's been such redevelopment of College Park. It's a sleepy little town with small homes. And now a lot of those have been knocked down, and that may have messed with the infrastructure. Channel 9's Sabrina Majori is going to join us right now.
She's live in Apopka right now on Main Street. And Sabrina, I see some caution tape behind you. Must be some damage there.
Darlene, lots of damage to the subway right behind me. I first just want to direct your attention to the side of the subway right here. You can see the crack there. But really, if you follow me this way, you can see this structure that has been deemed now unsafe as of this morning. If you look inside the windows here, you can see that the roof is actually entirely collapsed here. You can see the insulation as well as wires hanging inside of the subway here. If you keep on following me down this way, you can see that sign from the city, I believe, that says that the structure has been deemed unsafe. And if you direct your attention up to the top of the building over here, you can see really the extent of this damage. We understand that this was caused by the significant wind that we saw here yesterday and really all across Apopka. We've seen structural damage. This is one of the worst cases of it in Apopka that we've seen so far since we've been driving around here. We did also see lots of flood damage as well as other, damage to balconies and looks like other structures as well. But this structure here deemed completely unsafe. Police tape up at this specific location as well. We're continuing to kind of survey the damage in and around this community, driving around and really getting a sense of how bad the winds were and the impact of this wind. But for now, reporting live in Apopka, I'm Sabrina Majore, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, and wherever we drive, point the car in any direction and we see various damage. There's that phrase, the phrase that, if the creek don't rise, well, if it does, if the creek rises, grab a canoe.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Channel 9 Sheffield did. Just really some incredible reporting he has done for us today as he surveys and brings us images of the damage and really the extensive flooding there along the Little Wekiva in Seminole County, where residents are dealing with major flooding there. Let's take a look.
So we're on Little Wekiva Road in Altamont Springs. This is a community that has flooded before whenever we've had these kinds of storms. All of the homes along this side of the street back up to the Little Wekiva River. In fact, if you look between these two homes, you can see water flowing from that direction. That's water that continues to flow from the Little Wekiva River out into this neighborhood. And you can see homes out here are surrounded by water. They've taken on a lot of water during this storm, and they've had that in the past. We were out here in 2017 following Hurricane Irma, and neighbors told us that was the first time they ever had a flooding issue coming from the Little Wekiva River. We saw homes that were surrounded by water. We saw homes that had water inside of them, and neighbors knew that coming in to this storm. In fact, we spoke with some folks who spent 4 days trying to shore up their homes. They were putting sandbags out there. They were surrounding their homes with tarps and things like that, trying to keep the water out of their homes. And one of the gentlemen that we spoke with the other day, his son was out here surveying the damage today, looking at it, and he said he believes they likely have between 3 or 4 inches inside one of their homes, and then they also have a second home on this street, and they said they believe that home likely has a couple of more inches than that. So quite a mess out here. One of the neighbors was kind enough to let us use this canoe so we could get in here and survey some of the damage and devastation that some of these folks are going to be dealing with. In fact, the home that you're looking at right there, that's one of the homes that took on damage during Irma and again during Hurricane Ian a couple of years ago. And that's one of the homes that they spent 4 days trying to shore up. And the one right next to it that we're going to be approaching here in just a minute or two, that one is the one that took on even more water this time. And when we were out here in 2017, that home actually took on anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of water inside that home. When we looked inside that home following the storm, they had mold inside, they had mildew in the walls, and there was a horrible smell. This time, the homeowners told us that they put their furniture up on cinder blocks, so they were hoping the water wouldn't get that high and they wouldn't have as much damage, at least on their belongings. Now, as far as the walls and things like that, they likely are going to have to deal with a mess there. They decided to ride out the storm in Georgia this time and not stick around for any of this potential flooding that they thought they could face, and obviously they are now facing. We did see a crew from Seminole County Fire Rescue come through here in one of their high water vehicles. It did not look like, when we saw them at least, that they took anyone out of these homes. But I do know during Irma in 2017, a lot of people decided to ride out the storm in their homes and ended up getting stuck and had to be rescued. And in fact, when the rescue crews came in, some folks still didn't even want to leave their homes. So the rescue crews were coming over here and painting numbers on the sides of their homes to indicate how many people were still in there in case they needed to come out and do any more rescues. But the good thing that folks are telling us is that most of the folks who knew they had to evacuate did get out. They didn't stick around this time. They also said that this storm was not as bad as Hurricane Ian. They don't have as much water here as Hurricane. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of days if the water continues to flow out of the Little Wekiva River. That's something they'll be keeping an eye on, and certainly something we'll be continuing to check on as well. We're now reporting from Altamont Springs, Jeff Deal, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
The single greatest example of creativity, Canoe Witness 9. You know, and this is not far. This is just a little bit north of where the water was the issue. And this is Spring Valley. This is just a little bit to, let's see, to the west of I-4. And this resident who sent me this video, and this is that attitude part that I tell you about, feels incredibly lucky, has lived here for more than 25 years, has these beautiful oak trees in the front yard, now has a very expensive cleanup, but feels so fortunate because they did not fall on their home. And again, the community coming together there. And I just want to show that that's an example. We've shown trees on houses, we've shown them on cars, and we've also shown you now near misses. And that's a near miss. That he said last night, the noise when those trees were cracking and that wind was rolling through, just absolutely something that they had not heard before in their lives, and they hope to never hear that again. And so thank you for that video, and we've got all kinds of viewer videos that have been coming in to our newsroom.
Yeah, they are doubly blessed, and I just want to point out to Jeff Deal and incredible reporting there on the canoe. It also is a testament to his experience and his, connection with the people in that community. He knew their stories, and that's why he was able to take us on a ride like he did. So thank you so much, Jeff Deal, and your photographer there.
And Octavio Torres, awesome, and he was not left on a canoe without a paddle. So he paddled okay, got through it, and it's one of the, to me, it's one of the great post-storm stories that you'll see anywhere, ever. We'll be right back.
Milton brought the biggest tornado outbreak in Florida history in one day. That's why we spent days and days to update all the county-by-county impacts, to give you that advance warning, to track it street by street, and tell you that it's coming. And it's time to